Hey there, welcome to June. It's June 1st, which means a couple of things. One, we are heading into the midpoint of the year. So, first 6 months are over and are almost over. And are you ready for a big finish to the second half of the year? But the big reason I'm here is because today is the first day of hurricane season here in the United States. And I wanted to share a few tips for you that you might not be thinking about. So, my name is Winnie Anderson. In case you're not familiar with me, I am a brand and content strategist, and I help service businesses to use digital marketing strategies to attract more of their best qualified clients and help those clients decide to buy, no selling required. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post below. I'm going to share the three big tips that I learned the hard way. And I hope that they save you some pain and aggravation. But there are lots of great tips, some that you might have, and feel free to share them below in the comment area because we want to build up a whole bank of tips on how we can stay safe. So, what you might not know about me, one thing you might not know about me is that I used to work for the American Red Cross. I worked for a large, rapidly growing chapter of the American Red Cross back in South Jersey. And I had left my job at a casino hotel in Atlantic City. Just decided that I had something on my heart that I was being called for. And I left a job I loved with a company that I loved working for and started all over again with the American Red Cross. I started out as a disaster recovery specialist, an emergency services specialist, and was eventually promoted a few times in the short time I worked for them. And I finished my career with them as the director of HR and chapter operations. That was prior to my accident. But so ever since then, I've become this little weather geek and naturally am hypersensitive about making sure that I'm prepared, my family and friends are prepared, and my clients are prepared for hurricane season and other disasters that could befall us. So I just want to share some quick tips with you. Remember, severe weather can happen at any time of the year, and the tips I'm going to share don't just apply during severe weather seasons, but they also are good things to think about and use to prepare yourself just in general, because this is all about making sure that we have managed our risks very well and that we are prepared for whatever life might throw our way. So, of course, I have notes. That's what I'm going to be glancing at here. And I'm using the fabulous Streamyard app. So if you're watching this live, you want to be sure that you click the link in the summary area that says, hey, click this link to give Streamyard access to your profile. That's all it does. When you click that link, instead of seeing in my Streamyard dashboard Facebook user, it will share your little profile picture and your name. So I can actually call you by your name, not just Facebook user. So, okay, here are three tips, very big tips, that you can apply to keep yourself, your business, especially if you work from home, your home safer. And let's dive in. So, number one, you want to move your files to the cloud. All of your work is really best saved to a location that you can access remotely for lots of reasons. One is because tech really does fail. It never fails at a good time. It's always the worst possible moment. And when I learned this the hard way, yes, it was during hurricane season, but it was actually because an external drive just got completely fried. It died. I don't know what happened. And I had to spend some money and have experienced some tremendous stress to recover most, but not all, of the information that was on that drive. So you definitely want to move your files to the cloud. I have a OneDrive account because I'm a Microsoft, I'm a PC person. So I have a OneDrive account that I can use to access, but I also have a Gmail account, of course, and I have my Google Drive. So a lot of times I've started saving documents that I'm working on right there in my Google Drive. And that way, no matter where I am or what device I'm on, I can access them. I can access them on OneDrive too. I just like the ease of Google Drive for working on drafts of things. So no matter what, move your files to the cloud. You'll feel so much better about yourself knowing that your files are safe and secure. I'm a big backup person though. So you might not know this about me either, but I'm a certified rescue diver. And way back in the day, I used to take a diving course each summer and completed my rescue dive training prior to my car accident. I was actually understudy, or apprenticed, I should say, to a dive master on my way to becoming an instructor. But I digress. So divers, we are super risk managers. We have backups, and we will have backups for our backups. That's why you never dive alone. So when you see a diver, you'll see all that gear hanging off them. A lot of times it is a backup for something that they're using. So this is where my paranoia about having backups is important. So you want to make sure that if you're saving to a hard drive or you're saving to the cloud, that you've got things backed up in other places so you can access them whenever possible. So the number two tip I have for you is to get an emergency power source. I once lived through a 5-day power outage during a heat wave. It was horrible. I could do nothing, right? Work just stopped for me. That's a long story I will spare you the details with, but nobody's idea of fun going through that in the middle of a heat wave. So one thing you might want to consider is to get a whole house generator, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Sometimes just a UPS, an uninterrupted power source, can do the job and can be a good investment for you. So I used to have a lot of power outages. It just happens to be true for where I was living at the time. So a universal power source can get you, like, it can save you some time. So if the power goes out and your computer's on, whether you're at your desk or you're somewhere else in your house or in your office, you can then get to the machine and save your work and close down your machine. It minimizes these power surges that can then damage your equipment. So you really want to consider that. And I might share some links below to some universal power sources, but really a good use of your money. So that was the second recommendation. And the third tip I have for you is to create an emergency communication plan. This isn't just for big businesses. This is really for anybody, whether you're a solo professional, whether you manage a team, of course you have clients. So you want to make sure that you've got a clear plan for communicating with each other during an emergency and for communicating with your clients. So I do this when I've got important meetings scheduled, any meeting really. I want to know your phone number just in case I have to text you. I learned this the hard way. I was interviewing a New York Times bestselling author, and all of a sudden, it was a sunny day. The power just went completely out. We were like 45 minutes into the interview, and I had not gotten his cell phone number. Of course, big gurus, famous people, they don't like to give people their number, but I always stress this is just in case of an emergency. Give me your assistant's cell phone number. I want somebody who I can text in the event disaster strikes. So this does not mean that you are attracting bad stuff happening to you. It means you're conscientious and you think about what if kind of scenarios. So you want to make sure that you have a clear emergency plan. If anything happens to you, you can get in contact with your clients, with your team members, even have a backup so somebody can get into some of your accounts. Have these things in a safe place so somebody can access them in the event, God forbid, a true emergency befalls you. So, an emergency can range from a key worker who is sick, you get ill, a client has some kind of an emergency. So you want to make sure that you're able to get this information in the hands of those people who need it. I once interviewed a friend of mine whose business partner, died suddenly. Well, you want to mourn that person, but the business has to move on. So, what are you going to do in the event of an emergency? What are you going to do in the event that a key player on your team gets snatched by aliens? So, you do want to think about a communication plan and then an emergency plan for taking care of those things. Now, for all of you law of attraction folks out there who think, oh, I don't want to think negatively because I'm going to attract that disaster, just stop it, okay? Because risk management is part of life. You carry an umbrella when the forecast is rain and it doesn't rain. Or if it does rain, you're prepared. You wear your seatbelt to keep you safe in the event of an accident. These are things that you do in case of. Even Jack Canfield talks about what to do when something bad happens. It's just part of being prepared. It does not mean that you're going to start attracting bad things to yourself. So just, you have a spare tire in your car. In the event that you have a flat tire, you carry your cell phone with you in the event that you have an emergency and you need to get in touch with somebody. So you really want to think about how to protect yourself, how to protect your business, your clients, your data, your family, your money, right? You're thinking of all of those things. So these tips in particular will help you stay safe and protected and feel confident during severe weather season, and especially now that we are in hurricane season here in the United States and in North America. If you've got tips, share them below so we can, have this body of great tips on how we can keep each other safe. And I'm going to share some links to sites that will help you with emergency plans, like ready.gov, I think, is the one here in the United States, certainly the Red Cross and other disaster management types of sites that can provide lots of tips for you. So again, it's not going to attract bad stuff to you. It's going to help keep you safe and keep you calm and in control when stuff happens, right? So I hope that's been useful to you. Please feel free to share this with anybody that you think would benefit from this. My name's Winnie Anderson. I'm a brand and content strategist. I help service businesses sell their services faster and easier with great digital content that sells for you so you don't have to. All right, bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Have a great summer and enjoy the weather.